There are growing concerns that Australia's economy may be facing a significant crisis. While the idea of an impending economic disaster might sound alarmist, there are several compelling reasons behind this prediction that deserve attention. In this video, we'll take a closer look at why experts are forecasting potential trouble for Australia's economy in the near future. Australia has enjoyed a long period of economic prosperity, largely fueled by its vast mineral resources, agricultural exports, and global demand for commodities. However, as with all economic booms, there comes a time when the cycle shifts, and experts are pointing to several key factors that could lead to a downturn. Housing crisis. The first factor driving concerns is Australia's ongoing housing crisis. The country is facing an affordability issue like never before. In Sydney, the median house price has soared to over $1 million, and even regional areas are experiencing a dramatic increase in property costs. This presents a huge challenge for many Australians, especially when wages are not growing at the same pace. When home ownership becomes out of reach for the average household, the economic repercussions are felt across the board. High debt, rising mortgage payments, and fewer people entering the housing market lead to decreased consumer spending. If the housing bubble bursts, as many predict it might in 2025, it could have a crippling effect on the economy. Heavy reliance on China. Another major concern for Australia is its heavy reliance on China as a trading partner. For years, Australia has benefited from China's demand for resources such as coal, iron ore, and natural gas. However, there are growing signs that China's economic engine is slowing down. Furthermore, China's increasing focus on renewable energy and reducing its dependence on fossil fuels could significantly impact Australia's export market. If China's demand for Australian resources declines, the country could face severe economic consequences. Rising national debt and inflation. Australia is also grappling with rising national debt and inflation. The nation's debt has increased in recent years, particularly in response to recovery efforts following the pandemic. On top of that, inflation has been steadily climbing, which is putting pressure on Australian households. As interest rates rise to combat inflation, the cost of loans, mortgages, and everyday goods becomes more expensive. With less disposable income, Australians are becoming more cautious with their spending, which in turn dampens consumer confidence and economic growth. Global economic instability is another critical factor that could spell trouble for Australia in 2025. As global markets show signs of volatility, experts are warning of the potential for a worldwide recession. Being a small, open economy, Australia is particularly vulnerable to international economic shocks. Whether it's disruptions in trade, supply chain issues, or global economic policies, Australia could be severely impacted. If multiple global crises converge in 2025, it could lead to a significant downturn for the Australian economy. Climate change. Lastly, climate change is an increasingly urgent issue that Australia cannot afford to ignore. The country is no stranger to extreme weather events, such as wildfires, floods, and droughts, and these natural disasters are becoming more frequent and severe. The economic toll of rebuilding after such disasters is substantial. Agriculture, a key pillar of the Australian economy, has already been hit hard by prolonged droughts and floods, which have affected food production and export capabilities. If climate change continues to worsen, the economic consequences could be catastrophic, especially for sectors dependent on natural resources. When you combine all of these factors, rising debt, overdependence on a volatile trading partner, potential global recession, a housing crisis, and climate change, the outlook for Australia's economy looks increasingly uncertain. While no one can predict the future with certainty, it is possible that 2025 could be the year when these pressures come to a head. That said, it's not all doom and gloom. Despite the challenges, Australia still has opportunities to shift course. By focusing on economic diversification, investing in renewable energy, and building a more resilient economy, Australia can reduce its vulnerabilities and adapt to an ever-changing global landscape. While the road ahead may be tough, with the right strategies, Australia can still navigate through the storm and ensure a more secure economic future for all.